Instinet is no stranger to dark pools and crossing networks here in Asia, with Korea Cross, Japan Crossing, and CBX Asia. Why is Instinet focused on this service? And will you offer a dark pool in Australia and Singapore now that competition has finally opened up in those countries? And how will alternative trading venues progress in Asia over the next 5 years?
Good question. I think I probably would like to shift the question into two parts: is sort of lit, displayed, exchange alternative venues, and then dark pools. And I'll start with dark pools. I think the reason why we're in the dark pool business is because one of the things that clients, our end clients, assess the most value to is liquidity, especially in the Asian region. The ability to find liquidity without displaying your order into the public marketplaces is a very attractive proposition to large institutions, especially in Asia, where the size that they need to trade is quite often larger than the market. And we've been sort of taking what the market gives us, as it were, based on each regulatory environment. I think in a perfect world, I'd like to have a consistent dark pool offering across every country. But the reality is each regulator is handling the situation differently. And so we can only deliver what the regulators allow in any one given jurisdiction. I think our overall philosophy in how we will be relevant in dark pools is Instinet is one of the largest agency brokers in the world, with a very large global distribution network and reputation, and really instigator globally of the first alternative trading and crossing venue. So it's in our DNA to develop these kind of products. Right now in Asia, we have the products of which you mentioned, and we will continue to expand that offering into all the countries in which we can. But we will. The two things where we think we add value is in our agency independent model. So in a pool at Instinet, the flow that you're seeing is agency flow. We're not seeding the book with any prop flow or any kind of flow that could potentially be negative for the end user. So we have a reputation of having strong agency pools. And the other place in which we find that we are relevant in a section within the liquidity provision that we want to get involved in is aggregation. And it's quite an undertaking to roll this out, because I have to have agreements with other providers of dark liquidity in order to access their pools, and they to access mine if they have a similar product. So we've built the logic for Nighthawk. We're in the process of working out the agreements with the various pools in order to roll the Nighthawk product out throughout the region. In terms of different countries where we don't have a pool, right now we have the CBX pool in Hong Kong. The CBX pool is it's a registered ATS in Hong Kong, and it's allowed to have both displayed and dark order types. We have VWAP Cross, as you mentioned, in Japan, which is part of the Japan Crossing Suite, which has been a very successful pool for us. And we also have the CBX market in Japan. Japan has a specific regulation regarding dark liquidity, which is a little bit different. When you license yourself as a PTS, as we have, there's certain pre-trade transparency requirements that you have that don't enable you to be completely dark. We're reevaluating our strategy in Japan, considering rather than the PTS strategy, to go through use Topsnet reporting, which allows you to have dark order types. In terms of the rest of the region, Singapore, you have really not too many alternative products there yet, and I just think the size of the market is the issue, and I don't think too many people in the industry are focused on a Singapore-specific product right now. And when it comes to Australia, this center point crossing order type is going to allow us to roll out our CBX market in Australia as well. There previously had been a difficulty in crossing orders. You've always been allowed to run an internalization book in Australia without necessarily most of those who do run them haven't licensed them. They're just considered the same as other internalized trades. So whether it's two sales traders cross stock, or whether you traded on an internalization engine, you still had to report it to the exchange. Part of that reporting was the AC&E requirement, which meant that you had to display some of the order on the exchange, and you could potentially be broken up before you crossed that order. They've gotten rid of that requirement in November, but it used to be you have to display it for 10 seconds, and now you only have to display it instantaneously. But still you have to display it. Once they roll out the center point crossing order type, we'll be able to internalize orders and report them through that order type, and that's when we'll be launching the CBX market in Australia. Just to encapsulate it really quickly, our strategy is to have our own internal pools, which where regulations allow us to, we like to have the displayed or undisplayed option, so our clients could display the liquidity in the pool or use dark order types. We have that functionality in Hong Kong. We're working on it in Japan, and we will be in Australia. In terms of VWAP crosses, we have the VWAP cross in Japan. It's been a successful product, and we will consider launching similar products in the rest of the region. The Korea VWAP cross has actually seen some recent success, and it's certainly a marketplace in which liquidity is at a premium. I think in other emerging markets, where and when we can find local partners and regulators willing to work with us on products, we'd love to expand there as well. In terms of displayed markets, that's in exchange alternatives, if you will. I think overall our group strategy is that Chi-X, a related company, is going to be the group company involved in creating exchange alternatives.